Alright guys, we're going to go over the Baitcaster. Stay tuned the entire video so you don't miss any tips or any explanations. At the very end, I will go over my pros and cons. What's all this crap? Alright, I'll tell you, but first... What? I don't want a big old story. I'll be real quick. Just let me show these other two reels briefly, and then I'll show you what this one is. Alright, well, these other two are just as important. What are you doing? Will you just listen for 5 minutes? What? Alright, I'll listen. You guys are gonna have to excuse Earl. Earl's just having a hard time right now. He ain't getting no sleep at night. And he just sleeps during the day all the time, and it's just sad. His old lady there keeps him up all night yelling at him, so he comes over here and lets me yell at him. But anyways, today we're going over Baitcasters. Alright, well, Earl may be in and out over there, sleeping and not sleeping. I don't know what he's doing, but today the main point is to go over Baitcasters. Let's see if I could get a good view here. Baitcaster. This one. I'm sure many of you guys have seen these. Spinning reel. And this is the most common of them all. This is the spin cast. So most people refer to this as the Zebco. This one particularly is a Shakespeare, but most people have Zebco 33s. Fished the tar out of this when I was little. Now I've stepped up to the Baitcaster and the spinning reel. So here today we're going to talk about the Baitcaster. Alright, so Baitcaster, you have your handle that you reel in with. This is a right-handed model, so when I'm holding it, it's going to face this way with the handles on the right. Alright, this particular one is a 5 bearing, and I believe, let's see, it says on here, oh, it's on the handle. It's a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. You have your handles, and then the star piece go up right behind the handle. That is your drag. You righty-tighty, makes the drag tighter, which drag is, so I can hold on here, is the tighter the drag is, the harder it is to pull line off if you're not throwing it out. So I'll loosen this up. So if you're fighting a fish, you know, you want to have a certain amount of drag so the fish can pull some off so you don't snap your line off. So we have the spool, which is what holds all the line. This one has line on it. So you see the little red piece here. It's a round round piece that holds your line. The line comes out, not where I have it coming out. It actually comes out the guide here. If you guys can see that. Comes out the guide. I just wanted to get the line through the line guide. The line guide is important because it keeps the line even on your spool. So I'll show you guys here in a second. I'm going to pull some line off here. So as I reel it in, it puts the line, it'll move left, side to side, left and right, side to side, and guides the line onto the spools so it stays even. So another piece of the Baitcasters is the spool tensioner. I'll just take it off real quick. There's a shaft that goes through the center of the spool, and there's the end of it there. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's right here. The little metal piece there, that's the end of the spool, and then this little cap here presses on that and determines how tough it is to pull. Well, it puts the tension on the spool itself. So it's a constant amount of pressure on the spool no matter what the speed of it's going. So this is adjusted varying the different size lures that you put on. This will have to be adjusted. And then the final piece here is on the other side of the spool, the left side here. This is a right-handed one. So on the left side is we have our braking system. You see there's a a part here that says max, and then another part that doesn't have anything. So this is the braking system. So it determines the maximum speed that your spool will go when you are casting. And this is a major player, along with the spool tensioner, of whether or not you're going to have backlash. So this is an adjustment for backlash. This is an adjustment for backlash. And then the last piece is your thumb. When you cast, your thumb will be in contact with the spool, and that's your final defense against backlash. Briefly earlier in the video, we talked about spool gear speeds. So we're going to talk about that again. So this one in particular has a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio. Now what does that mean, James? Well, it means for every one turn, dang, I've got so much line here. For every one turn of this handle, the spool will turn 6.2 times. So just go over it real quickly. I'm going to turn this one time all the way around, and the spool has turned 6.2 times. Now that is part of the speed. The second part of the speed is how much line do you have on your spool at the time. So the larger diameter spool you have, or the more line you have on here, the faster the line's going to come in. So the less line you have, the slower it's going to be, even though this is the same gear ratio. One of the pros is you can do a lot of different casts. You can do an overhand cast, you can do a sidearm, you can pitch it with the line out, you pitch it. I'll show that in another video. You can flip it. These are very smooth to cast. They're very dependable if you maintain them. That means keeping them clean, keeping them dry, making sure they're lubricated at least once a year. But I'm going to get into the cons now. The number one con is backlash. If you don't know what backlash is, you buy one of these and you don't set it up properly, you'll find out what backlash is. It's just a big old nest of line that gets caught up here, and it is a mess, and you can't use your reel until you fix it. Baitcasters are typically a little less sensitive. They're used for catching bigger fish, so the sensitivity usually is not there as far as, hey, I can sense bites real easy through it, even though you still should put your finger on the line almost all the time. Still a little more difficult than on a spinning rod or spinning reel. That pretty much sums up the Baitcaster. Just hold on for the next video. I'll go over spinning reels, and then I will start going over how to cast these. If you're just getting into fishing, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. If you know someone who's new to fishing, tell them about my channel, and I'll teach you and your friends all about catching fish. Until next time, get out there and go catch you some fish.